You're listening to the Street Smart Wealth Experience, show number 450 starts, stops, keeps, and releases. Welcome to the Street Smart Wealth Experience, the show that empowers you to create the business and the lifestyle of your dreams while living a fulfilled, wealthy life in every sense of the word. I'm Jackie Ulmer, owner of StreetSmartWealth.com, creator of the Street Smart Wealth Academy and PeakPerformanceHabits.com, teaching you the skills and the habits to make those dreams a reality. Show notes are on the blog, StreetSmartWealth.com, and get signed up for my free webinar series at StreetSmartWealth.com/challenge. Well, hello, and Happy New Year. Welcome 2024. I'm certainly excited about this year because it's an infinity year, because 2024 adds up to the number 8, which is the infinity sign. And I don't know about you, but I loosely follow some of that stuff. And I do love the infinity sign, which is perfect for our very first show of the year: starts, stops, keeps, and releases. So what in the world is going on for you, and how are you? It's been a minute, I realize that, which leads me again to the title and the topic of this show: starts, stops, keeps, and releases. And that's really what we're going to cover. We're going to talk about starting and stopping, holding on to certain things and releasing other things. 2023 was a crazy, busy, frustrating, and learning year for me. I don't know how it was for you. But I learned a lot. It was really a year that was steeped in my own health and wellness, with some not major, but little challenges that were derailing me, derailing my mindset, my thought process, where I thought I'd be at this point in my life, created some concerns about my longevity, my functionality, and really set me back a good bit, which was a little frustrating because, as somebody who's typically very positive, very motivated, and has done a lot of work and mastering my mindset, I really felt myself slipping into an area that I didn't really want to be in. So I did a lot of work, and it's kind of funny. After all the work that I did, I really kind of had a wake up call with myself in November, a wake up moment with myself. I had traveled to Paris, had a beautiful trip in Paris, and I spent a good bit of time by myself working on my mindset, working on my planning for the next year, and just truly enjoying the experience of this beautiful city that I was in, and the possibility and the potential that it offered me. And it made me start thinking, what do I really want to start doing fresh for 2024? What do I want to stop doing? What do I want to catch and release, or rather keep and release? What are those things that I want to keep doing? And what am I going to release that's going to set me free, if you will, to achieve all the things that I truly want? And it's kind of funny reflecting back on all of that after 30 years in business. It'll be 30 years this month, January, about by the time you are listening to this podcast, or around that, a little bit after that. I believe January 21st is my official start date of my first direct sales business. January 21st of 1994. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. So 30 years in business and almost 25 online. In October, I will pass the 25-year mark of building a business using, most specifically, the internet. And it's so funny because what I've learned is a lot, and what I know is that not really that much has changed. And what I mean by that is the basic platforms have changed a lot. I had online forums and message boards and article sites and that type thing, and very archaic one-dimensional websites. All of that's changed. The platforms, now we have all the social media sites, YouTube, podcasting, all the different things. But the bottom line is, despite the changes in those things, the rest of it has remained the same. The messaging and the way that we connect with people, and people themselves and what they're looking for, and Connection, none of that has changed. In fact, in the last 4 years, if anything has increased, it's people's desire for true connection. It's their shift from really following influencers and that type thing, and really looking for those people who they bond with, feel some camaraderie with, and truly feel that connection. So if I can impress anything upon you in all of your messaging and growing a business and building relationships, all of that, make sure that you're truly focused on people first, serving them and the value that they're looking for, and the messaging that you use to deliver that, because that's so important, not sales messaging, but messaging that lands exactly on what it is that they're looking for, and then the connection that you build. And that reminds me, I've been running and I'm still running a series of free webinars. You can go to streetsmartwealth.com/challenge, get entered into those, and you'll be set for all of my upcoming webinars all year and beyond. Now, as I mentioned, 2023 was a health and growth year for me. I got derailed from a lot of my business goals. In fact, it's kind of funny. On December 31st of 2022, I wrote a letter from my future self a year later to my current self of December of 2022. I wrote a letter with all my goals and my intentions and what I had intended to accomplish by the end of 2023. And as that date grew nearer, to open up that letter and read it, I knew that I was going to find myself disappointed when I actually got into the letter. And I knew I was going to find myself disappointed because I knew that I had not achieved even close to what I wanted. The one thing that I definitely achieved was a lot of great travel. I went to the Middle East, I went to Paris, and I went to a number of places around the United States. I had some fantastic travel and experiences, and all of that was great. But beyond that, I really was focused on my health. And like I mentioned, I was kind of in a spinning the drain, if you will. I was in a spin cycle of what was working, what wasn't working. And so it really derailed me. So December was my planning and wake up call month. And 2024, I know, is going to be a business growth and impact year for me. Now, I mentioned starting and stopping because I have started and seemed to stop many times in my 30 years in my own business. Yet in my mind, I've certainly never fully stopped, and I have absolutely never quit. I have never quit on myself, on my goals, on my dreams, my aspirations, or on my tribe, my community that I'm meant to serve and meant to reach my hand down and give a hand up to help you and all of those in the tribe truly achieve what they want. So what I really wrote out for myself as my starts for 2024, and some of these are not new, they're just a continuation of those things I already know. I'm going to start every day with getting into the mindset of $1 million business owner. That's my future self-work, right? Every day I have to get up and ask myself, what is the mindset of $1 million business owner? What thoughts does that person think? What action steps do they take on a daily basis? So that's a big part of it too, pre-planning my daily action steps. It's clarity on my money philosophy. And I'm going to cover more of that on an upcoming show because I feel like that's so very important. I set my money goal for the year, and I set my money goal for next year as well, 2025, because I feel like it's really important to push myself out there a little bit further so I can continue taking myself down the path that I really need and desire and require to go down to get to where I want to go. So that future self-work is so very important because here's what I know. I can't get there from right here by continuing to be the person that I am right here, especially by continuing to be the person that I was in 2023. I have to take a look at that, sort through it, figure out what worked, what didn't work, and then set that new goal, set that new mindset for my future self, and begin to incorporate that daily mindset of that $1 million business owner into my being every single day. Okay. And part of that also includes having a defined content calendar, knowing what I'm going to get up and do. Now, I'm recording this on Wednesday morning. That's one of the goals that I set for myself. I have blocked every Wednesday morning that I'm around and in town, and I can, to create my podcast shows. I've defined that time. It's blocked on my calendar. It's not available or accessible to anything else. And knowing that I have that then gives me the commitment to the consistency of creating that content. But it also gives me the flexibility to know ahead of time, oh, if something comes up on a Wednesday, how am I going to revamp and revise and reposition my time so that I can do whatever else I'm being asked or pulled to do, but also make sure that I don't stop on what my goal is to getting that podcast work out there. And then along with that defined content calendar comes creating the content for my marketing message and my sales message and serving my clients on a daily and weekly basis. So those are some of my starts for the year in terms of business. And I'm really focused on business for the show. Although, if you know me and you followed me, you know I have my 5 F's, right? Faith, which is my mindset work. It's my belief in myself, a belief in a higher power, a belief that I have everything that I need to create and achieve everything that I want. I remind myself of that. So faith is F number 1. F number 2 is family and friends. That's relationships. Third F is fun. Fourth F is fitness. And my 5th is finance, my 5 F's. And they all intertwine. Fitness is not just about health and wellness and my physical self. It's also about my fitness in my mindset, my mental health, right? It's my fitness in fun and having those actions and doing those activities that serve me. It's fitness in my relationships and in my finances. So they all blend together to create what I want. So part of my daily $1 million mindset and part of my future self incorporate all 5 areas that matter to me, those 5 F's, and making sure that I'm fulfilling those in the best way possible. So those are some of my starts. How about those stops? Well, one of the things that I really fell into the trap of last year is over consuming other people's content. Okay. I have shared this before. I have nearly $16,000 in money saved by using my public library over the last 7 years. Now, when you break that down, that's a lot. It's over not 3,000. I don't remember, well over $2,000, well over $2,000 a year in content that I didn't buy for the audio, that I didn't pay for the audio or the book or whatever. That means I was consuming an awful lot of other people's content. I was doing the same with podcasts. So I was spending way too much time consuming the content of other people before I actually took the time to create my own content, which is why my podcast fell off for a while. Now, a lot of that had to do with not feeling really up to speed to doing a lot of that, but that was also part of spinning the drain, because the reality of it is the health challenges that I've been experiencing are not enough to take me away from doing anything. I certainly can, but I had sunk into a mindset of, I don't feel good, so I'll do it tomorrow. I'll procrastinate it. I'll put off, etc. So stop listening to so many podcasts of other people. Stop checking every book that sounds good out of the library. That's what was happening. I would listen to a podcast. They would recommend a book. I would go and get that book, even though I know all that content. I've heard it said by somebody else, not that it's not great content, but my whole goal is to define a philosophy for myself of how I run my life, how I run my business, how I run my thinking, how I run my health and wellness. And I don't need 20 gurus out there telling me all the different ways of doing that, right? So I have to stop believing that there's more to learn in order for me to achieve a certain level. You may be able to relate to some of this. Another thing I'm stopping is worrying about every item on my to-do list. Okay. Again, it comes back to defining that daily mindset of the $1 million business owner and the daily action steps that that person takes, and then prioritizing that. If I prioritize that, my to-do list gets really super small because I know exactly what has to be done to move me forward on my goal. And I know exactly what I'm going to do for today, because another one of my starts is really committing to my content and my content calendar and making sure that what needs to be done is on there. It's scheduled in. I'm not leaving any of it to chance. So when I prioritize, then I can show up and get it done. So then the final stop is delaying getting suited up, right? So there's wake up, there's suit up, there's show up. Getting suited up is something that I had to release my own thought process around, which was I come from the way that I've run my life always was that I would get up, I would do my mindset work, I would do my workout, and then I would shower and get all ready and create my content. And sometimes if it wasn't anything video, I could delay taking a shower till later in the day, getting ready, hang out in my comfy clothes, whatever. And I have flipped the switch on that because I know for me, when I get suited up in business mindset, in $1 million future self mindset, that's when I show up as a peak performer and I take advantage of those habits that I know that create what it is that I'm truly looking for. So I had to let go of that old philosophy of, oh, I can't take a shower till I've worked out or gone and walked in the desert or whatever. Why? Part of it's because I had this thing about, going out, working out with my makeup already on or whatever it is. Who cares? Who gets to set the rules? I do. I set the rules for myself. You set the rules for yourself. That's the most important thing. So my new goal is to get up, do my very small, slight mindset work on that future self, that $1 million business owner, get in the shower, get ready, and get going with my day. And then the final thing that I'm stopping is overthinking certain foods. You've heard me say before, in the last 4 years, I got my health coaching certification. It's something I've always been passionate about. I really haven't shifted that much, but I did find myself getting way too bogged down in so many of the toxins in our food and environment. And I finally decided I had to stop obsessing about that. I had to do the best that I could, put the 80-20, 90-10 rule into effect for myself. 80 to 90% of the time, I do everything right. And the rest of the time, I give myself grace to go out to dinner and not overthink the menu, not overthink this, not overthink that. I have that list of things that I choose not to put into my body for a number of reasons. And all the rest of it, I do the best that I can. So again, most of these revolve around my business starts and stops, but some of them I definitely had to put in there for myself, because by refocusing my overthinking of certain foods, that helps me refocus my overthinking of other activities and actions. So what are those things I'm going to keep then? Well, I'm going to keep with my weekly planning. I've always done a great job with weekly planning. Have I always kept the consistency of committing to it and getting it done? No, but that's on my start list again. So I'm going to keep up with my weekly planning, and I'm going to keep up with bulk and batch content and task completion. So what that means is video shoot day is the day that I definitely get up, get all my makeup on, get dressed, have everything preset and ready to go so that I can fire things off. I can set up my backdrop like this. I can get my lighting set, microphones, whatever I need. I can get my props. I can have everything done ahead of time so that I'm able to fire out that content and not have to redo some of those tasks over and over and over again. Our goal is to make our business and our life very simple very streamlined so that we get stuff done, right? GSD. You can make that S stand for whatever you want. Another thing that I'm going to keep is meal prepping, and I'm going to be doing some shows on this. I got my health coaching certification. I'm passionate about it. That's a lot of what my peakperformancehabits.com website revolves around. I have Get Fit challenges, and I'm planning to be launching the Lower Toxic Living podcast and YouTube channel where I can help people with all of those different areas, which also help everyone in business. I got my life coaching certification a number of years ago because what I realized through my business and social media coaching is that life and business intersect. And if people were having challenges with an unsupportive spouse or feeling like their family and friends didn't support what they were doing or feeling less than, paranoia, unworthy, whatever it was, those are life coaching skills. And through that, I have realized how to bring all that together to make the most effective person that puts themselves forward in a positive business sense. Now, along with my weekly planning and meal prep and all of that in bulk and batch content is using my calendar entries, and those email pop-up reminders that come up in my phone, wherever it is, lost my phone, doesn't matter, that pop up and remind me, oh, in 1 hour, it's time for video shoot. It's time for podcast creation. It's time for whatever that is. That way, I don't miss the important things that matter. And then, of course, one thing I'm going to keep is scheduling fun social time. Fun is one of my 5 F's. And so I like to make sure that that's included in the whole plan. And then finally, what are my releases? Well, I said some of them already with my stops, but those releases are beyond just stopping them. I've unsubscribed from newsletters whose content I'm not really ready to put forward right now. So I have a mantra that I adopted years ago. What I need will come back to me when I need it. So I'm getting rid of that FOMO of, oh my gosh, but what if this comes in? No, I'm unsubscribing from those newsletters that I never open, those emails that I never open. I've unsubbed from a bunch of podcasts. For instance, all the health and wellness ones. I was subscribed to, I almost hate to tell you, about 30 podcasts that basically told me the same content over and over again. The same books that were being released, the same authors were coming on and being interviewed. And I was listening to all of them, like reinforcing in my mind that I was doing the right thing, that I was on the right track. The reality of it is I already have those answers within me. I already know that I'm on the right track with all of that. So I have released that and let that go. I've also picked my main mentors, 3, and I've left the rest behind. Now, some of them I'm still on their podcast, but I'm not consuming their content. I've put tunnel vision on and really focused on one coach and one mentor for this year. And I'm following her body of work, her philosophy, because I mostly align with it. I don't align 100% with any one person, and you probably don't either, and that's okay. But I've chosen who I'm going to follow and listen to, and I've shut off the noise of all the rest of it because it's a distraction. It allows me to stay spinning the drain, procrastinating, consuming everybody else's content, and not getting out there and doing those things that I know I need to be doing. And then the final thing that I'm doing is I'm going to stop drowning in derailing thoughts. You've heard me talk before about mindset, daily thought downloads. I'll be revisiting all of that very, very soon, but it's so very important. That's where my number one thing, first thing when I wake up in the morning, is to check in on the daily mindset of my future self, that $1 million business owner. What mindset, what thoughts does that person think? What thoughts does future Jackie think? What action steps does future Jackie take? Those are the most important things. And by focusing my day and starting my day on those things, that allows me to let go and stop drowning in those derailing, oh, who's going to listen to me? I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy, or comparing myself to others and all of that. Because as I mentioned already, 30 years in business this year and nearly 25 online, here is what I know that has not changed at all. People are still people. And the top three areas that are most researched, mulled over, and studied are health and wellness, with weight loss being probably at the top of that, but under that category, relationships, and money and career. Think about your own thoughts, consumption habits, and those things that keep you awake at night or that you think about on a regular basis. When I started online, those were the three that were positioned to me over 25 years ago, basically saying, operate in one of these three areas to make money online. Pick one of these three areas because these are the top research, the top books that are purchased, the top podcasts now, which didn't even exist back then, the top videos, all of that type stuff fall under one of those three umbrellas. And then one other thing that hasn't changed, consistency out-earns talent every single time. I'm going to say that again. Consistency out-earns talent every single time. The only way to perfect anything is to simply start it. You have to start it. You have to be willing to be bad before you can be good, and good before you can be great, and great before you can catapult yourself to that position that you truly want. The strongest indicator of success is resilience. How much resilience do you have? I want you to really think about that. On a scale of 1 to 10, how much resilience do you have? Consistency is what creates resilience. It really, truly does. Consistency is what takes you from bad to good, good to great, and great to out of this world. Okay, that's so important. Consistency really does create all that because you grow yourself. You grow your mindset, you grow your talent base, you grow your body of work, you grow your audience, you grow your income. You grow all of that through consistency. Doesn't start with you being great first. It starts with that commitment and then that consistency. And here's the thing, resilience is not a character trait. Resiliency is something that's developed. It's created through a compelling reason to complete something, a compelling reason to evolve, a strong why, in other words. And that's something I had to do in November and December as I was kind of laying around thinking, man, I'm not finishing this year in any way, shape, or form like I thought that I would. And I'm not going to allow that to be the way 2024 goes. So I had to really think about that. I had to revisit and come up with my compelling why. And I did. Now, here's something else that I've learned. Discomfort is to be expected for success in anything, okay? And those big three we already talked about, health and wellness, that involves discomfort. If you've reached a certain level and you're ready to release 30 pounds, there's going to be some discomfort involved. That's from breaking food patterns to working out to whatever it is. There will be some discomfort involved in reaching your ideal fitness goals for most of us, okay? There's discomfort in relationships. Relationships are hard and they're sticky and they're complicated. Sometimes we have to do hard things and start hard conversations, and we are capable of all of that. We are capable of all of that. And then certainly in the area of money, to grow more financially, we typically have to stretch ourselves. We have to get out of our comfort zone, and that involves discomfort. So I want to encourage you to plan ahead for your discomfort. It doesn't mean anything is wrong. I had discomfort this morning. I did not want to change out of my pajamas and my lazy mode of, listening to content and writing in my journal and writing in my 10 big ideas book and all that kind of thing. I had to plan for that discomfort because I knew it was going to happen. But I pulled in the Mel Robbins 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, boom. get up off the couch and just go do it. Go get in the shower, go wake up, suit up, and show up. That's what I had to do. That's what you're going to have to do. We've all allowed our lives to become too comfortable. There's an app for everything. We don't have to cook. We don't have to clean. We don't have to drive. We don't have to do anything anymore. In most every instance, on a simple app on our phone, boom, we can order up whatever it is that we want. We don't even have to get up to answer the door for our Uber Eats, right? It can just show up, they can leave it, and boom, we can deal with it later. We've allowed our lives to become too comfortable. So I want to encourage you to stop living in too much comfort. Get out, start getting out of your comfort zone, because being too comfortable is what truly stunts our growth. Be ready to get uncomfortable. So I want to ask you, what are your starts, your stops, your keeps, and your releases for 2024? Please do let me know, because I would love to hear. You can contact me through streetsmartwealth.com. You can leave a comment below. If you're on YouTube, depending on where you're listening, I would love to hear. And please join me on the next show for making your big idea a reality. I mentioned my big idea book. I'm going to share some of that with you. And again, make sure that you're signed up for my free webinar series. Go to streetsmartwealth.com/challenge. Let's get you in there. And if you like what you're learning here, if you're finding value, please do me a favor. First, share it with a friend, post it out on your social media. Be sure and tag me. I'm at Jackie Ulmer almost everywhere. And if you would subscribe, leave me a 5-star rating, a review, and a comment, that would help so much. It shares and grows the community. It allows other people to find out that we exist here and have bigger impact in the world and help other people. So you can visit me on iTunes or YouTube, Spotify, Google Play, Outcast, or your favorite podcast app. I'm Jackie Ulmer. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you on the next show. Would it change your business at all if you knew exactly what to say online and offline about your business without annoying family, friends, and strangers? Join me for the KillerContentFormula.com 3-day challenge. I'll provide proven tools to overcome fears and limiting beliefs that keep you feeling stuck with what to share on social. We'll create your powerful impact introduction. We'll write your business story in a formula to share on social that attracts your ideal clients and doesn't turn anyone off. And you can use this formula over and over and over. No more stare, compare, and despair about what to say to grow your business. Grab the first 3 video trainings at KillerContentFormula.com.